So what's really going on with used car prices? Are we in a recession? Are they going up, going down? Was there a bubble? Well, although used car values dropped a little bit from inflated prices during the pandemic, according to March 7th, according to Cox Automotive, one of the largest trackers of auctioned and retail prices, the wholesale used price went up 4.3% from February to January. That's 1 month, right? So it's not 4.3% per year. That's a month. The largest increase between 2 months since 2009, right? That's almost 15 years ago. So used car prices are still going up. This is after the inflated price and the spike. What does that mean for you as a buyer or an owner? Well, if you own a used vehicle, which guess what? We all own used vehicles. Even if you buy a new car, a month later it's a used car. So we all own a used vehicle. What that means is that good for you, your value is high. Whatever you paid for it is probably not a bad investment. It's not like in the old days when you bought a new car and it dropped 50% the day you drove it off the lot. The value is going to hold more than it did. However, what is your risk? Your risk is if you crash your car, if your car's damaged, replacing it's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of money. So you might want to make sure that you have good insurance, your insurance covers the value of the vehicle, and you want to make sure that you're being very careful about the use of that vehicle. Make sure it doesn't get stolen, make sure it doesn't get totaled. If you're a used car buyer, what do you do about the used car values? Well, it's a tough spot because you could look at a new car. Right now, a new car isn't much more than a 2 or 3 year old car. All right, you're going to find a car, right now it's 2023, the 23 models are out. Any car from 2020 and newer is not going to be much cheaper than a new car. So you might want to consider buying a new car. The problem is the availability of new cars is not great. And whether you buy new or used, the monthly payment on a car loan right now is very, very high. How do you do the math on a car loan? Well, first of all, you look at the price of the car. An average new car right now is $46,000 for a new car. That's a decent amount of money. But what's worse is with the current interest rates, the financing payment for a $46,000 car for a 5-year loan, and look, they make 6 and 7 year loans. You don't want to go that long. 5 years is about as long as you want to go. Really, 4 years is probably better, but let's say 5 years. By the time you pay sales tax and dealer fees and everything else, you're going to be looking at a car payment of about $1,000 a month for a new car. Yeah, you could buy a used car and maybe save a little bit. Maybe instead of spending $46,000, you spend $40,000, but your interest rate is going to be higher on a used car. Your maintenance will be higher on a used car. Your repairs will be higher on a used car. So even though you might get a payment of $850 instead of $1,000, it might not save you that much money in the long run because you're going to pay more on other fees. So it's a tough spot to be in. If you have a lease that's going on a car right now, you might want to look at buying out that lease when the lease ends. That might be your best source of a used car, is a lease buyout, because you have a fixed purchase price that might be below what the expected market value was on that leased vehicle. What about electric vehicles? Well, new electric vehicles aren't that much cheaper. Matter of fact, they're a little more money, but there are some big incentives. If you add up all the federal, state, and local incentives, you could maybe get $15,000 in incentives. There's a $7,500 federal. Some states have another $2 or $3 grand. Some utility companies have another couple grand. So if you add all that up, that might save you a little bit. Maybe if it's a $50,000 car minus 10, that puts you at 40 for a new car. Who knows if that's a better deal? But vehicle purchasing right now is a tough place to be. Even older cars. We've seen cars that are 100,000 miles, 10 years old, that are 20 grand, right? 22,000 for a 100,000 mile car. It's less than a new car, but it's really not a cheap car anymore, because that car is going to give you probably a $500 payment for a 100,000 mile car. Put some comments below. What are you seeing in your market? What kind of car do you have, and what's the current value, and are you looking to replace it, or because of the prices, are you looking to keep it longer than you had originally planned?